The sky. It's always up there, looking down on you, judging you. But you can change it. Whether that's to add some interest, turn sun down to dead of night, or shift something smug to a little more encouraging.
You are life's gift of light.
Better. So we have this shot, but we want to add some visual interest to the sky.
Great.
So we'll drop that into a comp in After Effects. And if you have any camera movement, the first thing you're going to want to do is track your footage, which we did a whole episode on that, so check the notes below for a link. Often, the main go-to for keying out a sky is duplicating the footage to use as a Luma matte, which is a solid black and white version of your footage. Sometimes you can get a usable result very quickly, other times you have to do extra work.
You can do it.
And we will. First, we'll tint the duplicate black and white and use a curves effect to crush the contrast. We want the sky to be bright and any foreground elements to be black. You may end up needing more contrast in some areas, but if you push it too far, you'll lose detail in others. To fix this, draw a mask around different areas, which we'll assign to a new curves effect in the dropdown. And now the effect will only happen within those masked areas. You may also find the foreground has elements which are bright or brighter than the sky. We don't want the Luma matte to remove these, so in those cases, you can use another duplicate to roto. For example, we're going to use the roto brush tool to cut out the plane body right here. Then we can use an extra duplicate with a tint and curves, crushing the contrast until we isolate the plane lights, which will mask, feather, and keyframe throughout the shot before setting the blending mode to screen, which removes the black. Once that's done, you can add in your new sky. We went for a free stock image that we found on pexels.com. And when choosing your replacement sky, make sure you're matching the light direction. If it's a cloudy day, this doesn't always matter, but if there is sun in your scene, try to find stock that aligns with the general light direction of your actual shot. Now set the new sky to use the Luma version of your footage as a Luma matte, and use hue and saturation and curves to closer match it to your plate. For example, this shot is leaning toward a teal in the shadows, so with curves effect, we can do the same. And with this shot, the highlights need to lean more warm, so we match those too. You also want to match the blur in your shots where needed, and noise and grain to match as well.
You must be a match, 'cause you're on fire.
If the sky in your original shot is clear, you can try out different blending modes as well, which can also bring back lost detail from your Luma matte. Now, sometimes with Luma mattes, you can get a light halo around the subject. One trick, which often will help this, is using a vector blur effect to expand or squeeze the matte. But to get the best end result, it's a good idea to have the new sky similar in brightness to the original. So if we brighten this one to match, it'll help it feel more cohesive with the subject. Now, if you have a plain blue sky, you can try to key that out instead, since for this one, a Luma key wouldn't really work because our subject is brighter than the sky. So once we track this shot, we'll use the key light effect to remove the sky. And with a sky layer comped and colored, we get a pretty good end result. You can also pair a sky replacement with color effects to alter the overall mood or time of day, like turning this blue hour setting into a warm dusk, or changing this warm dusk to a cold blue night. Speaking of nighttime scenes, there's a few different things you can do here. If the sky is again brighter than the foreground, you can still try pushing the contrast for a Luma matte method. And for this shot, we'll keep the existing clouds and add in an image of stars, which we'll link to our track and use the Luma matte before changing the blending mode to screen so that the stars are blending with the existing sky. Then use a curves to darken. Now we'll mask around the clouds to make sure there's no stars showing through where we don't want them to be, and a camera lens blur to knock them out of focus. If you want the stars to twinkle, you can add a fractal noise effect placed before the blur, set to multiply, boost contrast, and lower brightness, then lower the scale. Now Alt-click the evolution stopwatch and use an expression to have it constantly animate at a speed of your choice, giving us this type of animation.
I'm so proud of you, my shiny star.
Some night scenes might have a completely dark sky, meaning instead of a Luma matte, you just need to use a solid layer linked to your track, and keyframe roto shapes of the foreground elements, then set your sky layer to use the solid as an alpha inverted matte. And because the original sky is black, you can set the new sky layer blending mode to add or screen, which means things like these lens flares and haze can blend without needing complicated masks. But there you have it, a handful of ways to put the sky in its place. As always, if you have a question or something you'd like to see us cover, post that in the comments below.
And don't forget to like and subscribe, my ethereal love dragons. Do it.